Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I haven't made a video in years, since I had my Supra basically. I want to just take some time to really show my garage around, what the current status, what current cars I have, what projects I'm working on, tools that I've gotten, stuff like that. So let me give you guys a little tour of the shop, what things I'm working on, what cars I no longer have, and what cars I'm currently doing projects on. So once again, this is not like trying to grow a YouTube channel or anything. It's just to update my friends basically. So let's get to it. I'll show you guys what I'm working on right now. Alright guys, so first things first, we'll start with the Porsche 911 Turbo. This is a 2007 car. I picked this up a little bit over a year ago in Denver. And it's a 6-speed manual. Shortly after I got it, I had to pull the motor out of it. There were some coolant fittings that were leaking. Luckily, I was able to source this out. I ended up putting some Sharkworks stainless steel fittings on it, and I was able to get this thing back on the road. I did add an aftermarket exhaust, which sounds really good. Stainless steel system. That was from Germany. So the company for that is Car Graphic. I have to give you guys a little rev update as well as a drive around video for this car. Now, also like motorcycles, which is kind of cool. So we have my FZ09, also known as an MT09 in the rest of the world if you're not in the US. Love this bike. It's a triple 847 cc's. Love the red. Haven't gotten it that long ago. I still have the temp tags on it, so I got to get the registration updated on it and stuff. Love this bike, as I mentioned. Pretty cool stuff. All right, now I like the dirt too. So here's what I have as a daily driver slash beat up on the trails. So this is my F-150. It's a 5.4 FX4. As you guys can tell, it's got a little bit of body damage already on it. I like to ramp it off some things here and there. But it's pretty basic setup, just a small lift. It's got 35s. Basically almost stock. Does really well. Factory LSD. Open diff on the front. Eventually we'll do maybe a locker, like a lunchbox locker or something like that. Alright, now for the big update. So we have my 66 Mustang. So let me tell you guys about this car. I've had this car since I was 14 years old. Now this car has actually been in my family since way before I was born. My dad bought it back in 1968. And he basically married my mom in it, and they've had it for the entire time. When I was 14, I bought it from him. So let me tell you guys what I'm doing to this thing right now. So if you guys can tell, that is an 8.8 differential. That's out of a 96 Mustang. That is going to be taking place of the factory 8-inch that's in this car. Now this car is basically being torn apart right now so that I can start putting in a bunch of new pieces on it. So there's almost nothing in it. There is no doors. There's a bunch of random parts in there. The entire front suspension is completely ripped out. As you guys can tell, the shock towers are really not there. So you might be asking yourselves, well, how are you going to attach a suspension to this thing? Well, if you look down here, we have an AJEK member. So we're going to be basically transforming this to a coilover, a suspension out of a SN95 Mustang. So I'll show you guys all those parts. But it's going to be just like a nice little fun slide around car. Nothing too serious, not a whole lot of horsepower. So for engines on this thing, I have two choices. I have a 5-liter, basically bone stock motor, came out of a 95 GT with a T5 transmission. Super easy. I mean, it's already got full serpentine belt system, 3G alternator, 130 amp. I would be removing the factory fuel injection and moving over to a Holley EFI, which I already have. Second choice, I do have the factory 289 that I've actually been just tearing apart. This motor is not too bad a shape. I actually pulled it apart, and you guys can actually see the cylinder walls. Now there's a little bit of scoring on some of these. It's not bad at all though. It doesn't catch your fingernail or anything like that. So I think I'm going to be doing a dingleberry basically hone on this and just a home rebuild there's really not a whole lot of miles on it. I got this thing when I was 14, so this motor's not really been tuned properly. God knows what timing I was running in it. So it might be just a builder for now. So definitely different choices. I can build a 289, go with the 5.0, maybe get a 347 stroker. Those are fairly cost effective. So, all right, so let me walk you guys through the mess that is the garage. We have the welders on that side. So we have a TIG welder. There's a MIG welder behind all that stuff. We got a little compressor so that we can run air, run the hoses from there. We also run one of these small like mini lifts in the garage. The only real reason I got this was to do the engine on the Porsche. For me to be able to pull that motor out, you have to have a lift. Otherwise, you're going to be struggling for a long time. So love the Max Jacks. Definitely super simple to use. And now it just makes working on the 66 that much easier. Just a couple of parts I have laying around. So I have the cage for the 66 that's going to be going in. That is a rack and pinion. So we're going to be doing a rack and pinion system on this car. As I mentioned, suspension out of a 94, 95 Mustang. So these are the new wheels and tires. I'll have to show you guys those once we get a little bit closer to the car running. And then I have a bunch of random parts, X-pipes. There's an old carburetor over there. The 289 heads. And there is an intake from a Coyote that I had. All kinds of stuff. So you guys go back to some of my videos. There's a white Supra that was on there. So let me tell you guys a little bit more about that. So if you guys go back to some of my videos, you'll see a white Supra. Used to be NA, turboed it. Had a TH400 in it at one point. It blew up the factory 5-speed. The TH400 was super boring and it kept breaking. Ended up going to a V161. Drove that for a little bit of time. I had a real problem with that car staying motivated to work on it. I don't know why. It's just something about it. I would maybe get some parts and the car would sit for like a year. You know, I'd got a fuel system and the car sat for like 2 years. Finally got it running, 290/85. It was making really good power, and then the motor let go. So once the motor let go, I actually sold it to a shop in California. So I sold a hardtop roller Supra for $23,000 with some extra parts that I had with it. Some people call me crazy or dumb for letting go of a car that cheap, especially because they've gone up in price, especially with the new car coming out. I'll have to do a separate video about that. I have my own thoughts about the prices of Mark IV Supras, what they're really worth. Having owned one for such a long time, yeah, you kind of miss it, but I mean, I'd rather have my 911 any day. So I'll have to do a separate video about that for you guys. There's also the supercharged Coyote Mustang, the S550, that there's a previous video on. Really basic build on that. E85 car, had oil pump gears from MMR. It had the timing gear billet as well. Just a Vortec. It was running 11 PSI. Made 775 wheel horsepower. 6-speed car. Sold it to a local kid. Supposedly was going to race it. It looks like he spun out and hit something. The car's mostly okay, it looks like, but looks like he's looking for an auto. Maybe he's going to keep traction control on it. But sold that car when I got the 911. I have like super car ADD. I've had Z06s, turbo Mustangs, a bunch of cars, turbo Miata, countless stuff, Lexus. So I'm kind of slowing down a little bit. Not like I used to have like 6, 7 cars. So now I only have 3 at a motorcycle, which is pretty good if you ask me. But just a quick update video. I'm going to be keeping you guys updated as to what things happen. Obviously, I only work on these things once in a great while, so don't expect too many videos, but I'll keep you guys posted as soon as I have some updates.